Hello and welcome to the Gonzales Mitchell Show. I'm Clay Mitchell.
And I'm Patrick Gonzales. And today our guest is Erek Barron, a longtime friend of mine who has enjoyed a very distinguished career. He graduated from the University of Maryland with a BA in English in 1996. 3 years later, he earned his JD, Doctor of Law, from George Washington University. And after that, he received a Master of Laws from Georgetown University. Erek has served in the Maryland legislature representing Prince George's County. He has worked for the prestigious law firm Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston. He has served as a prosecutor for Prince George's County and Baltimore City. And in the summer of 2021, Erek was nominated to be the United States Attorney for the District of Maryland, to which he was confirmed and has served ever since. Welcome, Erek.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Absolutely. Erek, tell us a little about the past 3.5 years with your experiences as the U.S. Attorney for Maryland.
Well, this experience has truly been the honor of a lifetime. As you just relayed, I've had some pretty good jobs, some amazing opportunities of public service, but certainly this is this tops them all in many ways. As awesome as those experiences have been, just the ability to work with some amazing public servants here at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the entire Department of Justice has been truly an honor. And the scope of the work, the things that my team are working on is enormously important, and all manner of issues relating to national security, violent crime, you know, protecting taxpayers. Maryland, uh, the Maryland U.S. Attorney's Office is involved in all manner of national and international in scope legal issues from a civil standpoint and from a criminal investigative standpoint.
That's what.
I
Clay,
think one
why
of the
don't
most.
you,
Go
Clay,
ahead.
just why at this point, since you are also an attorney, and the only thing I know about the justice system is being on the wrong end of it, why don't you take over and from this point?
Okay, Patrick. Um, Eric, I think one of the most impressive things I know about you uh, over the past few years since you've been the U.S. Attorney is the plan that you had addressing violent crime, especially in Baltimore City. Your cooperation and partnership, I guess it is, with Ivan Bates, I think, has shown demonstrably that crime can be addressed and it can and will go down. And it has gone down. Can you tell us about that relationship and cooperation partnership you have with Ivan Bates in Baltimore City?
Sure, and I mean, I think this for me starts with a vision for the office as a leader, a leading agency among our not just federal but state and local partners. And I think that means that as an office, we need to take responsibility for violent crime. Obviously, it's not any one person, not any one agency, but we, as the U.S. Attorney's Office, have some role to play. And I think we can play a leadership role. And so, I'm informed by my experience being a former assistant state's attorney, having legislative experience dealing with crime on the state side and federal, and being a former defense attorney like Mr. Bates. And we've known each other for decades. And so for the stars to align where we're in these positions together, where we can form a partnership, one that is seamless, such that from the top down and everything in between, our attorneys are working together on investigations and screening cases and determining, whether it's this should be on the state and local side or whether we should adopt any given case federally. And so there's no hiding, so to speak, from accountability from those who would do violence in our communities or think about it. And that partnership has been amazing, but the then broader partnership that we've had with our police commissioner and the heads of all the different law enforcement and community-based organizations statewide, that doesn't, as you recognize, that doesn't just happen by accident. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of coordination and getting in the room and huddling together to determine a broad strategy and what roles each of us can play, such that we're all kind of rowing in the same direction. And it was, it wasn't without controversy for this office to take more of an active role and responsibility for violent crime in the city and the state broadly. But as you said, if we can get on the same page together and have a broad strategy and define our roles, and not have egos come into play as to who takes what case or what investigation, then we can accomplish amazing things.
Is this a unique model with between you and Mr. Bates in the country, or are there other jurisdictions that are doing similar things, cooperating, say, with the city and the U.S. Attorney's Office throughout the country?
So it's, I think parts of what we're doing has been done in other areas, but I think we're fairly unique in how comprehensive it is and how this is not just kind of some pilot that we're doing.
Yeah.
We have a federal partners meeting, we call it, and that's where myself, the police commissioner, and the state's attorney, we meet with all of our federal, state, and local partners monthly. We meet with that leadership. We get in the same room together at least monthly and share information, work out, kinks in our various strategy. If one agency needs something, then we're all there to bring to bear what we can do to help that particular agency on the challenge that they might have. And then within my office, we have a strike force where literally physically located an office where that strike force includes all representatives from all the different agencies statewide. And there's nobody has on a specific jersey where
Mhm.
this is my thing, my team. No, we're all commingled together, and I can rap on the cubicle next to me, and there's an ATF agent, a DEA agent, an FBI agent, and we're all kind of seamlessly working together and have access to one another. So it's not just, I think Maryland we've always had great relationships in that I can pick up the phone and know that, someone's going to respond. That's great, but we've taken it to the next level where we're actually a team. a seamless team as much as we can, such that um, I know the play. I know what the play is, and I'm ready to run my route.
Hmm. If you were to pinpoint what ingredient is in the secret sauce, so to speak, of the success of this partnership, what would you say that was?
Whew. I think it's teamwork. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's a vision such that I'm responsible for the individual, the agency next to me. Um, in that, it may be that a local police department is having trouble getting a certain type of equipment. Well, you know what? I'm going to take it upon myself to do what I can to see if we can get some federal funds for that equipment, to troubleshoot, to be a project manager, so to speak, where that it may never yield any kind of investigation or case for me. It won't move any widget or metric that DC may be following, but it is moving the ball forward in terms of public safety. The better I am to able to facilitate, mediate, help a partner agency in any challenge that they may have, then the better we're all able to do that same mission. We all have the same mission at the end of the day. Some of us may focus on drugs, others may focus on guns, um, but ultimately we all have the same goal of furthering public safety. Now that kind of vision or thought process as to this, what this office does is it's somewhat unique, but I think this office uniquely has the ability to be a leader among leading law enforcement agencies and can play that role. And if we're doing that, then we're going to be better able to achieve our shared mission.
To be honest with you, I thought when it was announced that your office and the state's attorney's office were going to cooperate, because over 10 or 12 years, the crime rate in Baltimore City, especially the murder rate, had just escalated. Over 300 murders, I think, for 3, 4, 5 years in a row. I thought, you know, this is just another one of those good ideas I've thrown out there. But demonstrably, the crime rate has gone down. Murders have gone down. Some of the programs that Baltimore City has implemented have taken hold. And I think with the enforcement part and the prosecution part of this, between the state's attorney and the United States attorney, really has worked. So I owe you an apology for not being a believer at first, but you and the state's attorney's office have really put something, I don't want to say magical together, but something there seems to work. And the reason I asked whether this was something that went all around the country is I gotta tell you, I think this is a model of a relationship between the feds and the states with law enforcement that can really work. Other cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, I think need to talk with you and Mr. Bates about how you did this, the model you put together, and over the past couple 3 years, how you made this work. Uh, if you could shed light on any advice that you could give other jurisdictions on how to make this work, what would it be?
Well, I think you gotta get out of the office. Got to get out of the office and pound the pavement and walk over to. I've walked the halls of the state's attorney's office for Baltimore City, and I have to say, I bring a diversity of experience to bear. I've been an assistant state's attorney. I don't think there's ever been in this office a former local prosecutor who is U.S. attorney. So I'm informed by my experience, and I know how much of an impact an AUSA and an ASA, an assistant United States attorney and an assistant state's attorney working together, the impact of that, I know what it can do because I've experienced it. And I'm working with a partner in State's Attorney Ivan Bates, who has also experienced it on the ground. And we were both defense attorneys at the same time, working cases together sometimes. And so we understand both sides and we understand the interplay between our agencies and how that can work in a way that can get results. And so um, that's that's part of the secret sauce, so to speak.
I think Maryland is blessed by having you and Ivan Bates and your special relationship and how you make that work. I agree with you that other jurisdictions may try to do this, but you, like you said, you have to set egos and all that aside and all be on the same team. With that being said, if you were to tweak anything or had a magic wand and wave it and tweak or change something with what's going on, what would that be?
Oh well, that's a great question. There's a there's a lot of tweaks that can be had. I think one thing that Ivan and I do also is that, as you alluded to, we can't be afraid of accountability. Accountability is important. There are individuals for whom we're afraid of, and who are doing things they shouldn't be doing, and we can't shy away from the need for accountability for those individuals.
Mhm.
But also, we're going to be spinning our wheels if we don't also understand the necessity for intervention and prevention efforts. And both of our offices and the commissioner, we believe in that too. It's not either or, it's both and.
It's
And
a
so we are
it's
modeling that as well.
It is a combination. Clay, let me jump in here real quick because, again, I'm not a lawyer. I have never played one on television, although I was in the running for Perry Mason until Raymond Burr eked me out at the very end.
Oh man.
Clay, I put everything down to a human level.
Yes.
And on a human level, in today's world, everybody's an expert, which means nobody's an expert. Everybody's a hero, which means nobody's a hero. But let me tell you something about what I know about Erek Barron on a human level. I can't speak to the details like you and Eric understand, but I know we got way too many phony balonies roaming the corridors of our politics, our culture. Whatever the 180-degree polar opposite of a phony baloney is Erek Barron. He is a good, genuine human being. And I just happen to believe that this country right now, this state, which I love so much, we need people like Erek Barron. And that, again, I don't understand all the minutiae and details of the legal system, but I do know on a personal level that the state of Maryland is well served with Erek Barron. And I just wanted to communicate that, Eric, um, because I think it's important. And so often we don't talk about those types of things these days. So,
Well, I really appreciate that. I feel like I'm literally on this planet to serve, and I'm at my best when I'm serving others. And this role has given me the opportunity to do that. And so I've been all in every day, all day.
I think, Eric, the results speak for itself. The success that you've had in Maryland, especially in Baltimore City, speaks for itself. I'm a true believer in what you're doing with all the crime and murder rates precipitously falling. And as a citizen of Maryland, a taxpayer of Maryland, I thank you for that.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, I think by the time we see the clock on the wall, Erek, we'd like to have you back again. But for this show, I'm afraid that we've come to an end. So it's time to say goodbye, Patrick.
Goodbye, Patrick.
Goodbye, Patrick.
Goodbye, Patrick. And thank you, Erek, for joining us today. We look forward to having you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.